Welcome to Knocking on Wood. We're back. In this episode, we paint. First, we have to do cut-ins all over the trim and the doors of the house. That took quite a while, but here you can see us cutting in the windows. We use this little trim sponge, actually works super well. Can't remember the brand name, but as you see, it really covers it well for ceilings and trim. I'm not sure what I'm doing with my leg there. Looks like I'm doing aerobics. Mrs. KW is cutting in the kitchen. Her father, if I haven't said before, was a career painter, so she's a natural at it. Here I am up on the scaffolding. This was super helpful so that we could paint the vaulted ceilings. As you can see, I've created my own technique for moving, not OSHA approved. We went with this gray, it's like a medium gray. At first we were worried it was too dark, but as it turns out, we really like the color. We're going to use a darker color as the accents, so you'll see in the end it looks really good. Here's the paint sprayer coming to life. I can't recommend a paint sprayer more. It really sped everything up, puts a nice even coat of paint. And here we decided to back roll the paint. As you'll see later, we ended up realizing that wasn't a great thing to do. It ends up leaving marks. Forget what the marks are called, but roller marks basically. But lesson learned. But as you see, it coats really evenly, really quick. Took us maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes to paint this whole spare room. And that most of that time is because Mrs. KW had to back roll all of it. She's also really good at taping, so she taped up the whole room as I spray painted. Paint sprayed. Spray painted? Same, but different. After that's done, it's recommended you try and pull the tape off as soon as possible. That way you don't get any paint tear out. Here we are in the living room. Interesting enough, the flickering you're seeing is as the paint sprayer is pulling electricity, it was messing with the voltage of the light, so it flickered. So apologies for that. Makes it moody though. Make sure you have your PPE when you paint like this. We obviously had Tyvek suits on and respirators. I ended up inhaling a lot of paint because I have a beard. My respirator didn't fit very well. I don't recommend that. It made me pretty sick. So make sure you have all the safety gear you need. Goggles, respirator, paint suit if needed. We even have the little booties. You can kind of see some places that we missed. We go back and do a light coat later to kind of cover those up, because it is actually, believe it or not, hard to see where you've painted and where you've not, especially as you start to get paint droplets on your goggles. It makes the visibility pretty awful. Here I'm taking 5, resting. Moving on to the rest of the living room. I would say the most challenging part of this paint was the ceiling. We're not quite there yet, but as you see, we have some overspray. It was very difficult to get even coats. Here we're in the master bedroom. It has cathedral ceilings, so that had its own challenges. But we made it through it, and it looks amazing now. Again, back rolling what we spray based on a recommendation. Later, as I mentioned, we ended up just only spraying. We found the back rolling kind of caused drip marks sometimes too. So we're jumping around a little bit. Here I am cutting some drywall. In the previous episode, I ripped out all the fireplace drywall. So I had to put up some new wall here. Here I am cutting it out with a jigsaw. I do not recommend using a jigsaw to cut drywall. I had a drywall blade on there and everything, but the drywall sheets we got were pretty cheap, so it was just wrecking it, making it crumble. So another lesson learned. It's part of being a DIYer. Cuts clean lines though, but if you flip it over, it just crumbles under on the backside. So the previous fireplace corner here was filled with drywall cracks, so I ripped it all out and then just added some new sheets, taped and mudded them. The corners are the challenge. So you're probably wondering why I'm sanding after I did all the mud work. Well, I got overzealous when we were paint spraying, and I started spraying this when I knew that I needed to prime it and texture it first, so I totally dropped the ball on that. And so it's fine. I can even see some spots that I missed. It's not really a big deal. But yeah, weird. So just clean it up. Anyway, when we painted it, I could see that it didn't look very good. So I'm gonna put a little more mud in there. Probably not today, and then we'll texturize it, prime it, and paint it. Good to go. Next up, we tackle flooring. Stay tuned.